Hello, my adorable squidlings. It is Katie, and it's been a while since I've unboxed something on the channel, at least in my opinion. And so today I'm going to be unboxing the February Paletteful Packs box. I believe this is the premiere box. If you're interested in Pal Packs, I have a link down in the description below. It's not like sponsored or anything. I pay for this box. They don't send them to me. But I love Paletteful Packs, and so if you want to support them, like I support them, there's a link down there. Anyway, I didn't have something to cover up my address, so I just used a palette. How fitting. Anyway, so we're going to be opening this up and finding out what's inside for the month of February. Got my palette out of the way here, and now we can look at the goodies. Look at these lovely little paper worms. They're like a purpley color. Love that. And we've got the card. Gonna set that aside. You know me, I like to be surprised. So anyway, let's get this first item right off the top here. Ooh! These are Micron pens. Of course, you know me, I love Micron pens. I don't really do a lot of Copic art anymore, but when I do, these are my preferred pen of choice. We have 10 pens here. They're in a black barrel. If you don't know what the traditional Micron looks like, they look like this. So this is pretty cool. What is this? Oh, it's their 100th anniversary set. Ooh, I've never had an anniversary set of anything, I don't think. So for sizes, we have 003, 005, 01, 02, 03, 05, 08, 10, what is that one? 12, and then the PN, which stands for plastic nib. I have never used a 003 in Micron, so that's going to be tiny. I'm really excited. These are an absolutely gorgeous, like, barrel. I don't know, they're just really pretty. So on the card here, it talks a little bit about the company Sakura and how they're celebrating 100 years, and they're releasing a limited edition set of their most popular product, which is the Pigma Micron. It is a 10-pack, and it has all the Micron nibs, and apparently it includes the 10 and 12, which we already know, and those are new. I did not know that. It just talks a little bit about the company, how they started, and the MSRP, which is the retail price, is $35.95. I would not have gone out and gotten them on my own, but I do really think these are pretty, and I'm really glad to own them. And I think they're black. Yes, they are black in color. Okay, this is so pretty. What is this? So we have, it looks like a custom cover. I don't know, is this upside? No, I don't write like this, so I guess it's not upside down. Ooh, oh, and the cover is kind of velvety. It's nice. It's also kind of dusty, so if you see me like doing that, sorry. So on the inside here, it talks about the artist, who is Alice Coles. She is also known as Hullo Alice here on YouTube. If you don't know who she is, she does YouTube videos, and you can follow her on all the socials right here, but it gives a little bio, and it feels like sketching paper, which will be really nice to go with the pens. And I have to come back to this cover because it is really pretty. She did a really great job designing this. The card says it is a 70-pound premium recycled paper. It's sewn with library quality binding, and so that's cool. They worked with Danique, and they make sketchbooks, or I think that's how you pronounce it, Danique. I'm honestly not sure, but anyway, I know that they make sketchbooks, but the MSRP on this is $11.99. Alright, and then the last items in the box, I believe there are only 3 if I'm not mistaken. These are the Tombow dual brush pens. They're just the Tombow ABT. They've got a bullet nib on one side. They've got a brush tip on the other, and these are water-based. And again, we have these lovely green tones. This kind of feels like a March box for me, but that's okay. They're really pretty, and I'm not upset about it. And I believe the 3 set of these has a retail value of $9.57. I really do enjoy Tombow pens. I get them every once in a while in a box, and I think they're really fun to play with. They're not my favorite medium by any means, but I do think they're really fun, and I don't know how they're going to work with the paper, but it'll be fun to kind of test them out. Now that we've done the swatches, as you might have seen while I talked over them, and now that I'm all done unboxing the box, that was it for the box. So here are the items. I'm just going to kind of set them out here in a nice little fashion. And from first impressions, I'm pretty excited. I do think it feels a little lightweight, but you also have to think of the quality of the item. So we've got like a whole sketchbook here. We've got a whole pack of limited edition, makes me feel very fancy, pens here, and then we have a set of Tombow markers. So again, it does feel a little lightweight, especially for a premium box, but I can't give you 100% opinion until I've used the supplies together and see if they work together pretty well. Alright, so I've already sketched out what I'm going to draw since the box didn't include a pencil. I'm just sketching it out beforehand. Here are a few little ideas I had here, and I wanted to test out if the paper actually would take the markers, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I get like water-based markers and they do not do what I want them to do. So I am working in my Mossery sketchbook, and I will have a link to that down below. It's not like sponsored or anything, it's just something I bought and something I like. So anyway, we're gonna work on this. This is a Luna Moth, and I'm really excited to be coloring this Luna Moth because I really like her design. So first and foremost, I'm going to be taking this conglomeration of pens, and I have no idea what I'm going to start with. I think I want to do like a bold outline, so maybe I'll do an 8 all the way around, and then kind of go from there. So yeah, I have no idea what to talk about. I did not start liking moths for a long time, which seems really weird because I know they're like kind of popular now. But like, I don't know, they never struck my fancy, but see, I never knew that there were moths that were actually pretty. I always thought they were the weird ones that ate your clothes. So, that's the reason I only recently started thinking moths were cool. But now that I know that they're not creepy, and, you know, some of them are really cute, and some are actually just really fascinating, you know, I like them more. And for this month's Patreon theme, like we already know, maybe you don't, I am doing moths, and that is why I am coloring this one. But yeah, so some of the moths I've been designing, they've had like the little, I don't even know what they're called. I did not research that far, but the little fuzzy antenna things on top of their head, and some of them were like ears, but I felt like this one worked for the design better as on top of the head. So, yeah, I wanted her to feel kind of regal, and I wanted a lot of her design to be kind of triangle shaped, because a Luna Moth is very triangular. And so that's why I chose a lot of the hair decisions and shape decisions that I did. So her hair is really like floofy and angular up at the top. And then as it goes down, it's more thinned out. And I don't think I've ever drawn a hairstyle like this, if I'm honest. And I think it looks really cute, so I'm pretty happy with it. If I have drawn a hairstyle like this, I'm just blacking it out. And look at me. I'm like, oh, I'll just do the outlines in black. Or in black. It's all going to be in black. In the 8. Look at me. I'm just going in for it. Okay. Back on target, Katie. She also has this like fuzzy part right here, and I think it's super cute. Alright. Maybe I'll go over and darken some of the very outlines with like that 12 or something. I feel like that might make it a little bit more bold. But yeah, I'm really excited about this box. It does feel a little light, but again, we did get a whole set of pins, so that's probably why it feels kind of light. These pins are not cheap, so that explains a lot, honestly. You know, I kind of, okay, so for these little tails, again, they are supposed to be like the Luna Moth little tails. I think I'm going to outline those, but I think for her dress, I'm going to actually stop, because I actually would like for the dress to kind of fade out is the wrong word I'm looking for, but like I just don't want any lines. Like I don't want it to stop. I just kind of want it to like blob out. That is also a really bad term for what I'm looking for, but you'll see what I mean. But I'm just going to kind of stop right around here-ish, and then I think that I'm going to let the paint and the markers do their thing. Alright, now that it's outlined, I'm going to go in with a thicker line, probably this 12 on the rest of the outlines, because I was not paying attention. Give it a really bold look. And apparently, like I said earlier in the video, these are actually new, which I find really cool. They're very thick. I feel like these would also be great for filling in some areas. I'm kind of accidentally adding line width. So, if it looks strange, well, oh well. I'm sure it'll look fine whenever it's done. My art pieces tend to go through various stages of it looks okay, it looks awful, it looks okay. So I'm hoping we go through the it looks okay stage eventually. Alright, I think all I'm going to do on the really thick lines are these straights that I've been doing, because I really don't want to try to get that 12 around the head. Maybe some of it, but not all of it, just because it's not super precise. I'll just do some. I love how I always contradict myself when I'm doing art, though. I'll be like, oh, I'm not going to do that, and then I sit there and I turn around and I do it. I give myself a big chuckle whenever I'm doing that. Especially when I'm editing it, I'm just like, girl, what were you doing? Alright, so we've used 2 out of these. I don't know if I'm going to be too concerned about using all of them. For the inside, I think I'm going to use the 005. Just because I want my lines inside here to be kind of small. And I may stop talking periodically because I'm going to be focusing. You know what? Just because I did the other side like that, I'm going to go ahead and block in this side of the hair with the 8. Just so it doesn't look bizarre with a 005 here and an 8 over here, because that would look very strange. Honestly, outlining first feels so bizarre to me. I'm used to painting first, but I wanted to make sure these lines were going to, I don't know, I really liked the sketch and I wanted to preserve it. And so that's why I'm doing this. Usually if I'm not too attached to a sketch, I'll go ahead and paint it anyway, just because I can kind of change it as I go. But I really liked this sketch. And I'm putting like little, I don't even know what they're called, just like a little ball tip at the end of the eyelash because I think it looks cute. This is so graphic looking already and I'm digging it. Okay, I keep like looking up at the viewfinder checking my progress. Alright, I only really wanted to do the super thin lines in the face. Oh, I didn't even add the eyes. What the heck? Like the irises. Alright, there we go. That's better. Anyway, like I was saying, I wanted to go in with a thicker one. I'm just going to go in with the 01 here just to fill out pretty much the rest of this piece, I think. Kind of being really loose with these fuzzy lines just because I don't want them to be too uniform or anything. And then I'm just going to really just finish lining this piece really quick. She's kind of wearing something akin to a kimono, but I don't think I'd necessarily call it a kimono. Like, it's like the general shape, because it's got like the long sleeves and the little, I don't know, the sash. I think it's called an obi. I'm not quite sure. The thing in the middle of a kimono that pretty much holds it all together. But I didn't necessarily want it to be a kimono, so I just like the shape of it. I think it makes a nice silhouette. especially because I really wanted these like little tails hanging off the sleeves. And then they're gonna curl a little bit. Oh no, I did the wrong way. Shh, we'll just pretend that line is not there. All right, now that we have our basic shapes in, I'm going to do a little bit of line widthing. I don't think that's a right word, but some of these lines down here, I feel like just need to be a little thicker. Not all of them, just a few. And I'm certainly not using the right pen for the job. Where's my 5? I just feel like some of the thin lines weren't bold enough for what I wanted. All right. And then lastly, I kind of forgot about it, but I'm going to line the little hairpin and the little Luna Moths that are around her. All right, and for now, that's good. I'm gonna go in with color as soon as this dries a little bit because the last thing I want is for this to smear. So I'm gonna let it dry just for a bit and then we'll come back and color it. So the first thing I'm gonna be doing is applying a really light wash of the lightest color I have, which is that really super light green. And it's even really light before you water it down. So it's super light now. But the reason I'm doing this is because I'm pulling a lot of that stark whiteness out. I really don't want to work on a super stark white canvas. So yeah, I'm just kind of just very simply going over this. And then applying more green as necessary because I'm already out. All right. And now that it's blocked out just a little bit, I'm going to let it dry. And then we'll start to actually add colors that are not just like a base layer. All right, so I mixed the darkest and the middle green to make this kind of emeraldy green. And I find that's pretty similar to what their wings actually look like. And I'm just going to kind of, I'm definitely going to just go over them. And again, I'm going to be working in a lot of layers here just because I want to get the colors right and I don't want to make a mistake because I really like this sketch. And I'm just plopping in some colors. I'm also going to be doing the same thing with her hair because I want her hair to be a similar color here. I'm going to be darkening her hair up just a little bit with some of the darker color. But for the time being, I want to go ahead and get that base of the middle green in here. And then I think I'm going to shade her skin and then this fluffy part here. Kind of the same. I want to keep them really light. And then I think the dress is actually going to be a darker color. I think that's probably going to be my darkest value here. I think I'm going to also color this little center sash thing. This middle-y green color. And then with what I've got left, I'm just going to kind of plop in some color on these little tiny moths. Also, you may be wondering why I'm not going directly in with the markers, and there is a pretty good reason for that, at least in my opinion. So I want to get the colors out onto the paper, but I find the markers are very saturated, and there's nothing wrong with the saturated marker because your girl Katie loves her a good saturated color, but the problem with that is I want to build up these layers. I don't want to start dark and work into light because sometimes, especially in watercolor or water media, that doesn't really make sense, especially not for how I paint or draw or whatever. So I am using a paintbrush. And yes, I know a paintbrush should not come in the Paletteful Packs box. They do give you all the supplies you need to make art, and that's great. But I also like to supplement sometimes with what I have. So that is why I'm adding these colors. And it's also nice to see where you're going with the colors. So like right now I have a really like base layer of, you know, just some different shades and stuff. And I'm already seeing how well it looks. And I'm pretty happy with my color choices. But sometimes if you start light and you don't like it or whatever, you can actually change the color of it. Like, I think I want to make this dress a little bit more green. So in another layer, I might go ahead and add a little bit of that middle green to my colors, just so I can make it a little bit more green. Or I may not, because this color is, honestly, I'm glad it's not, I'm kind of glad it's kind of bluey, because it takes away from some of that ultra greenness that was already going on here. So anyway, that's just kind of my opinion. I'm going to start kind of blobbing this out a little bit. I don't know, I want her to kind of feel a little ethereal, and that's what I'm going for here. Alright, so we've got some of our base layers in. And then, actually, now that we have the base layers in, we can pretty much go ahead and start adding the shading. I'm going to go over this because it was getting kind of patchy. Oh, I missed a spot. That's unfortunate. Once this dries, I think I might go ahead and go in with the actual markers to start plotting out, you know, some of the other stuff. I'm going to go ahead and add darker color. No, I didn't want the fuzzies to be dark. No, what are you doing, Katie? Well, might as well do that with this one too, just to give it the same tint that the other one has. It may not be such a bad accident. The first place I'm going to start adding shading is to the face here. And again, I want this to be the lighter color here. So I'm just going in directly with the marker just to add some shading, really. I can go over it with water if I feel the need, which I think I will. I'm just going to feather that down. And then I might actually tap some of this out here. It's looking really kind of weird on the camera. And then another of the light spots is the fluff here. And I'm just going to kind of randomly, honestly, just add some little flicks in here just to denote that it's fuzzy. And then I'm gonna take some water brush. I want hard and soft edges here. So I'm gonna take the water brush and kind of pat around and then just let it do its own thing. For the middle color here, I need to test it. Let's test it on the center part. All right. I'm just, honestly, the center part I'm just gonna make all in shadow there. And then I'm just gonna really add shadows where I see fit. That's pretty much how I do any of my art anyway. And actually adding these colors in really helps warm up the piece a little bit. Even though this is a very green piece, it really helps with kind of changing some of the colors. And I don't know, oh, I'm using the wrong thing. All right. I'm gonna go in with some of this hair, and I'm gonna kind of be a little gentle with how I implement some of this color. So I've been talking over this piece a little bit, and I was way too zoomed in. So anyway, what you missed was I did some of the hair. We're going to be coming back to the hair, don't you worry. And I've added some of the dark marker to the eyes. So yeah, now we're going to just kind of sparingly add some to the inside of this dress here. And all the underneath of the fluff is going to get some shading, because I imagine that's where, you know, there's some light casting some shadows. And as usual, I'm just going to kind of feather some of that out. And then, yeah, I'm just going to pretty much go back and forth through this piece, just adding shadows and lights. Just trying to make it as blendy and pretty as possible. And I want to take it section by section just because these do work pretty well in this specific sketchbook, but I don't want to risk it drying or something, and, you know, sometimes when it dries it leaves a really hard edge, and for the time being I don't want some places to have hard edges, so going to make sure I'm pretty cautious with that, so I'm just very quickly going back and forth. You know, as I unboxed this box, I honestly was not sure if I was even gonna like it. I don't tend to use Tombow, what are these, the ABT, very often in my artwork, and so I was kind of on the fence, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you can tell in the unboxing or not, but I don't know, I just wasn't super ecstatic about, you know, getting pens and markers that I don't use very often. Well, I use the pens. I've actually replaced a lot of my collection with the pens, but I don't really use the Tombow markers that often. And so I really didn't know what to think. And you know what? I may not use them all that often, but I am so far pretty happy with the art I'm creating. So there's that. But yeah, I don't know. I will probably have to use them more to like really like them, because again, they're not my favorite medium in the whole world. As you may notice, I don't tend to use a lot of like water-based markers. Like if I'm going to use water-based anything, it's probably going to be watercolor. But this was fun. This was fun. It was a fun little challenge, and it was fun for me to work out of my comfort zone. And I say was, like I'm like done with the piece. I'm not even close to done with the piece. But I don't know. I just feel like I'm not talking, so I should probably maybe give you thoughts about how I feel so far about these products. I feel like I mean to whenever I do unboxings, and then I forget, so I figured I could go ahead and throw that in. Also, random question, if you made it to this far in the video, do you like moths? Do you prefer butterflies maybe? Or do you just not like either because they're creepy? I know some people that don't like either. And I don't know, they're kind of creepy, but I also find them really cool, so I don't mind. This isn't giving me as much like flow as I want, this little dress thing. I'm kind of sad about that, but it's probably just user error. I'm probably just painting it not in a flowy manner. I want that part to be a little deeper in color. For some reason it looks like it's coming out, and I want it to look like it's sinking in the fold. It's a little better, I guess. I don't know. Oh well. And I'm also going to add some of the dark marker to her hair. I'm going to try to be as sparing as possible with this, because I really don't want this to be super overpowering. I really just want it to darken up some of the color I already have there. There I go again, missing the camera. I have it zoomed in and I've changed my camera angle, so I'm not used to working the way I work, so I'm constantly missing the camera. I am so sorry. I may have to go back over this specific like hair. I don't know where that one came from, but I may have to go over the hair with a little bit more of the middle green, just because this dark color is really overpowering. All right, I'm gonna go over these little fluffies with some of this like light green, and then I think I'm just gonna kind of flick in the middle green. And then, you know what, for the background, I'm honestly not sure what I want to do. I want to do one of two things for the background here. Let me zoom out. So I was wanting to do like a wash of color, but just kind of like, okay, so kind of scribble out the markers and then like blob in some water and just kind of let it mix on its own. And I think that's what I'm going to do, but I don't know how that's going to come out. So wish me luck, because that's what we're going to do. I want her to stand out, so we're just going to do like a really light color around her. And then as we get further to the edges, I'll start adding the darker colors. And I want to be kind of random with them, so I'm just going to throw in some color here and there, and we'll see what happens. This one's kind of an experiment, So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and add some of this marker in between. some of the spots because I don't want a bunch of white spots. And if not, it looks chaotic, right? That's kind of cool. Alright, let's go. Just dropping in color. Or water, actually, not color. Alright, now I want to move it. I know that's dangerous, but I want to move it just a little bit. And then some areas where I'm finding that it's not going anywhere, I think I'm going to focus on. It's so green. I'm not going to lie, my eyes are getting kind of tired of seeing green. I'm going to pick up some of that color and just plop it in the back. And that looks kind of cool, I'm not going to lie. Like I said, I want to move it around just a little bit. Ooh, now onto the character though. Let's not do that. It's a little watery down here. See if we can't. Actually, let me help it along just a bit. Let's see if we can't get some of this to move just a tad. This looks pretty cool. And then I want to add just a little bit of this dark marker down here. Just kind of like pop it in. And then move it around. So here is your look at the final piece. I think I went a little overboard with the background, especially because those Luna Moths got really drowned out. I ended up doing a few things off camera. I added a white border to all of the pieces in the piece, so being the Luna Moth and the character. And I added a little bit of a detailing, so like I added a little like wavy line to the dress. And I think it's cute. It's a lot of green, and I don't really know how I feel about the color scheme per se. Like, it's just a lot of green. But I do like it overall. Like, I like the design of the character, and the background was really fun. Again, I just feel like I went a little overboard. But anyway, I do really like the piece, and if you're interested in getting this as a print, it'll be exclusive to my Squid Squad members over on Patreon. So if you're interested in that, become a Squid Squad member and get it for February. So yeah, anyway, I want to thank you all so incredibly much as usual for watching. Y'all are amazing, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope you enjoyed watching and hanging out with me because I have fun hanging out with you. I hope you continue to have a squidoodly awesome day, and until the next video, toodaloo!